While Nintendo have definitely been doing better in the world of mobile, it does seem they still have some things to learn when it comes to getting the pricing right, as we have seen from Super Mario Run. Now, of course, as you probably know, it was pretty successful when it first came out on iOS in December, but the pay-to-play model, as well as the always online requirements, which are, to be honest, just silly for a mobile game, may have turned off many consumers. The overall reception was mixed, and according to comments from the company president Tatsumi Kimishima, Super Mario Run has failed to meet Nintendo sales expectations, and he discussed this in an interview with Nikkei. Now, as you undoubtedly know, Super Mario Run lets you try out the first world before hitting a rather hefty $9.99 paywall. Now, this is, $10 is not that much for a game, but it is on mobile. A lot of the games on mobile are free, and the ones that aren't free are usually, under $5. So one for $10, that essentially is a runner game. Yes, it's Mario. Yes, it's going to be well made and so on. It's still $10 for a mobile game, which is a big ask to many people. Especially when you throw in the caveats that, you have to always be online for reasons that don't make any sense. If you're looking for something to play on a train journey, this immediately nixes it. Now, despite all of the downloads that the game actually had, Nintendo did of course reveal back in January that only 5% of players who downloaded the game actually decided to progress further past the paywall. Now, despite the fact that this paywall undoubtedly put people off as well as the other concerns about the game, it does seem that Nintendo are, for now at least, committed to selling mobile games at a cost that, to a lot of people, is probably going to be a bit high for the platform. Now, you might be scratching your head and going, but, they've got evidence here that shows that, Super Mario Run didn't do as well as they thought because maybe the price was too high, and you've got games like Fire Emblem Heroes, which was free on Android and iOS, and it has been proving pretty damn popular. But despite this, it seems that that particular model, the play for free but have microtransactions model, is just a one-off for now at least. It seems that according to Nintendo, Heroes is an outlier and they prefer the model of Super Mario Run. Now, there's nothing inherently wrong with having to cough up first for a game on iOS or Android or any mobile platform, whatever it happens to be. That's fine, but I do think they need to get the pricing right, because $10 for a runner game? I don't think so, and I think a lot of people felt the same. If the price had, say, been $5, just for example, or $4.99 to make it pretty much half the price, or $3.99 or something along those lines, you kind of get where I'm going with this, I think a lot more people would have coughed up, because for a runner game, $10 is a lot. I know it's Mario, I know it's, it looks nice, it's going to play well, all this other stuff, but $10 is still too much for the mobile shop, considering a lot of the games are free, and you can still get really good games for free as well. It's not like the free games are bad and the paid games are good. That's not necessarily indicative of anything other than the fact that the developers at least feel confident enough asking for money, but there is no guarantee that, for most companies at least, that when you pay for a game on iOS or Android or whatever, that it's actually going to be any good. Obviously with Nintendo, the chances of that are higher, but you still get where I'm going with this. So I'm not saying it has to be free to play or nothing, but I do think they need to consider lowering the price tag of their mobile games if they're sticking with this model, because, 5% of, however many downloads it had is obviously still going to be a lot of money, and no one's saying that Super Mario Run didn't make money, because it obviously did, but even Nintendo themselves are saying that it didn't hit the sales targets even though it was profitable, and maybe that will think, okay, we'll lower the price, or maybe it won't. They seem stubbornly sticking to this model despite the fact that Super Mario didn't do brilliantly, Fire Emblem did, and I know it's a very small sample size, but still, it's the only sample size we've got. And obviously I've been focusing a lot on the price tag for the last minute or so, but that's probably not the only concern for a lot of people. As I said, the fact that it had to always be online, I think, was probably a big deal breaker for a lot of people who may have been wanting to cough up that $10, because again, I think for a lot of people who are playing a runner game or any game on mobile, they're probably travelling. They're on a train or a bus or maybe a plane, something like that, and unless the train or what have you has free Wi-Fi, you're probably not going to have a brilliant connection at that particular time, and if your connection is dropping in and out because you're going underneath a tunnel or whatever on the train, trying to use your 4G or whatever, then obviously the game's going to keep booting you out, and it's going to be really frustrating. As someone in that scenario is not really going to want to pay $10 for a game that they can barely play, because in their head they're thinking, well, I can only really play this when I'm on my way to work in the morning and on the way home, but I don't have reliable internet, so I can't play it. I think that is a big part of why it didn't do brilliantly, and I still don't really understand why they decided to make that decision. I know they explained it, but their explanation was weak, to be honest, and it didn't really justify the dumbness. That's not really a word, and kind of ironic actually when you consider what I'm accusing Nintendo of, but the stupidity, I suppose you could argue, of that decision. In a lot of ways, I think I would prefer just to play $2-3 or whatever it happens to be and not get any microtransactions or in-game payments or anything like that bothering me during gameplay. So, I'm not going to fault Nintendo for that decision. I think it's fine, but again, I think they need to adjust their expectations as to what people will actually pay for a mobile game. They have a lot of competition in that space. I know they are Nintendo, and they still made a profit, but still, they obviously need just a little bit of tweaking in that regard, not only in their sales, but also their expectations of those sales as well. But you are free to, of course, let me know your opinions and so on everything I've discussed here in this video. Thank you very much for watching. As always, your support is highly appreciated. Do remember to like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. It does help out a great deal, and I'll see you next time.